morning enough. Just let the vibe lie. Young kings and queens, it's time to rise up. Ain't no need to doubt, just gotta size up. Just look in the mirror, see that shining glow. We built for the hustle, let that passion show. Titled You Are More, yeah, that's the motto. Words of wisdom in the pages, it's a treasure, not a novel. Confidence is the currency, worth more than gold in this game of life. Let your story unfold.
Hey, you, yeah, you. Do you know your worth? Let me hear you shout, let me feel that hurt. Hey.
Welcome to our first episode of You're More Than Enough. Great surprise. I've been looking for my first guest, and I got her. My lovely wife decided to join me today, and this is a first. This is a first. So we will have a great time. This show is going to come on every week for half an hour. It's going to air on Tuesday nights at Monday nights, 7 o'clock. You'll be able to catch us live on Facebook and catch us live on YouTube as well. We're going to cover a variety of topics on this show. We're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about family. We're going to talk about raising children, fatherhood, parenting. We're going to discuss what's happening now, whatever's hot in current events. We have a great time. We're going to talk about faith. So we're going to cover a wide variety of things. Each topic is going to be fun, and I'm going to have plenty of guests, hoping I can get my wife to be my co-host for most of the weeks. You see that look right there. So let's get into it. Then we're going to talk about marriage, man. We've been married for going on 41 years. 41 years, man. We have together 3 lovely children. We have a grandson who is, everybody knows, it's my dude, man. It's my dude. I spoil him rotten. So my first question is, we've welcomed everybody, is what did you ever think you'd be married and be married 41 years?
Yes, I thought I would be married.
Okay, I need more answers. You gotta give me a little more than that. I mean, for me, man, it's been a journey. It's been a real journey. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about love. I learned so much about fatherhood, about manhood. There's so many things I learned, and I hear people complain about marriage. And for me, it's been a good thing. It's been a great thing. What about you? How's it been for you?
I enjoyed my ride. I call it a ride. Every ride has its ups and downs, but we've been able to work through it all.
As you can see, she was talkative. We're like opposites, so this is different for both of us. She says, I'll talk to a tree if I stand next to it long enough, and she doesn't like to talk at all. She does not like the spotlight, but she is my, she balances me out. She keeps me humble, she keeps me focused, she keeps me on task. So talking about that, what do you think is the biggest challenge for marriage these days?
Lack of communication and trust.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because most people look at us and they think we have no problems. They think we're perfect. I talk to people, and I guess because you made it 41 years, I'm tough to put up with. I know that. I'm high maintenance. I know that too, and I can be challenging at times. What are some of the things that made you decide, that you're going to hang in there? Because most people quit that with no fault, divorce, and the things. What are some things that made you decide that you're going to hang in there? You're going to make this thing work?
Well, divorce is not an option. I just look at it that way. Divorce is not an option, and I took vows not only to you, but I took vows to God, and we're going to make it work.
At a time where marriage is just getting a bad rap, it is just getting a bad rap. We got a son who's getting married on June 19th. And we talk about this a lot on our other show, Above Average Black Men. We talk in the schoolyard too. And relationships now seem to face, I guess, more scrutiny, more challenges because of social media. The influence of social media. So what would you say to Chris and Andrew's getting married? If you could give them one solid piece of advice, with all the stuff they're going to go up against, what would it be?
You have to learn to block out the naysayers, block out the noise. It's not about them, it's about you and your significant other. It's your journey. It's not their journey. It's your journey. So you have to remember that.
I love being asked this question here. People ask me 41 years, are you tired? Are you bored? Guys, been together a long time. And my answer is always the same. I love you more now than I ever have before. And I tell you all the time. I think, man, you're amazing, and you've been amazing to me. You check all the boxes, and it's hard to explain, but some of it we can't say on air. But I still thrive for you. Let's put it like that. And I do, and I feel strong for you than I've ever felt before. What would you say to couples who say that? That you get bored with somebody, you get tired, or just
It's all about communication. If you're bored, or if you want something different, or if you're looking for something different, you should be able to come to your partner and let them know what your needs and what your wants are.
I mean, to me, one of the greatest things about our marriage is the way we've grown, each of us. And I think for me, it's really great watching you grow, how you balance being a mom, being a wife. Your least favorite thing when it happened being a grandma, if you did not want to tell a grandma, but you do all three of those things well, and you've been on your job for over 30 years, 35 years actually. So how do you balance those things?
It could be difficult at times, but I have a partner who understands and picks up where I need you to come in and pick up. If I'm running a little late on my job or putting more effort into my job, they come behind and help me pick up on household things that need to be done, or help with the children. We've always been able to tag team on it. We just didn't send our kids to their after school activities or just send them to do this and that. Somebody was always there with the children, and whatever they did, somebody was there, and we did it together as a family.
Now, one thing about our marriage that people often, when I describe it, our rules are kind of different, from traditional marriage. I do, and I explain why. I iron because I'm a pain in the neck if I like my stuff ironed. I crease everything. I do, I do laundry because I'm a pain in the neck if I like my laundry. I like my whites white and my colors. And when I share that to people are like, man, wow. But you do all the cooking. You do all the cooking, and you help me with other stuff. Like if I'm outside doing yard work or something like that, you pitch in. But it's kind of odd because we're in a time now where people just don't seem to think that's normal. How do you feel about that? I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy, when I pick up and I do different things, and it keeps me occupied. And those are things I don't have to think about. And because of what I do, I cherish those moments. Plus, I say this all the time. I love taking care. I do. I think that's one of the greatest gifts of marriage, and you have a spouse that you love so much and you love taking care of. So how do you feel about that?
I have no complaints. I enjoy it. I handle the inside of the home, the cooking, the cleaning. Yeah. I do that. And I'm cool with you doing the wash and doing the ironing.
I'm sure you are.
Yes, I am. I am. It's been like that forever.
Yeah. And it's funny because the kids used to complain. And the kids hate it because I used to starch everything. So I would iron stuff and starch it, and they couldn't wash the creases up. And if they're watching this, they're probably cracking up and saying, yeah, that's how it was. I don't do my grandson like that, though. I just make sure I give him a different spin because everybody's talking about it. For me, I think one of the challenges that we had to overcome when I talk to people and I'm counseling couples and individuals is blending two families together. And I don't mean like I mean your family, your brother, your sisters, your mom, your dad, my family, brother, sister, mom, dad. I think people don't look at that when they get married. You're talking about simple things like how you celebrate holidays, to where you do holidays, to bigger things. Not allow them to be involved. In what we do, decision making, things of that nature. So how was it like for you? Because I know my family is like super emotional, man. With the huggers and all of that. We do. That's what we do. But to this day, when I see my brother Joe, we hug each other. That's how we are. And you guys are a little different.
We are not the huggers.
Yeah. So how was that like when you kind of came into the world of the Penders? You be honest, folk want to know.
You accepted me for what I am. I'm still not a hugger.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. But you guys accepted me for what I am, and I accept you for what you are, and that's how we roll.
But it's funny you should say that because I think that's one of the adjustments I had to make because I'm real, I'm the touchy feely. That's who I am. I'm the, the hugger, the kisser. That's who I am. And it's funny because I had to, I guess, grow in that area to realize, and I learned a lot, to realize that's who you are. And I tell the guys this when I'm talking to a guy, I work with a lot of guys, and I guess it was about 10 years ago, and praying and praying and praying and praying. The time passed, and you just pray, and then God lays stuff on, and it was like, yo, this is who she is, and what it does is over the time, because we've had our interests in, times, once you really truly accept that's who the person is, and you start working together on it, it kind of, I'm not gonna say it works itself out, but it does. Because it's almost like, we reach a point where both of us are getting what we need. And I know a lot of marriages struggle with that. They do. They struggle with that. And I like to say negotiating. When you talk about different things, it goes back to what you said about communication. I'm a very busy dude. I got all kind of stuff going. And I think you're perfect for you because you like being by yourself sometimes. So I could be in my back office. I'm doing podcasts. I'm doing work. I'm making videos. I'm creating lesson plans. I'm always hustling. And I think we morphed into that because it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like that. And for me, I think we enjoy so much time together. Like, it's funny because we have a date night, but we're together all the time anyway. So how would you explain our progression from when we first got married to now?
Because it's nothing but God. Nothing but God. It has its ups and downs. But everybody's ride is not the same. Everybody's journey is not the same. So you can't look at other people and say, I want that. Because you never know what that couple or what that person is going through. So you always have to remain open and honest with your partner, communicate with your partner, learn to just enjoy life with your partner. It's not always going to be fun. It's not always going to be laughs, but we do have good time.
Oh yeah, we have a great time. I'm the character; she's the serious one. Just making her laugh is so hard to do. Like, it was funny because we used to be in the supermarket. Remember, I used to run, jump on your back. I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. We too old for that now.
Yes,
we were rolling across the aisle. But I think another thing for me that stands out in our relationship is I think about how we met. Don't recommend this for people to try this at home, but we met in September around your birthday, 85. We got engaged in November, 85, my birthday, and we got married the following August. So we hadn't even known each other a year. And we got married. And it's funny because we've known people who dated for years and they didn't make it. Here we are 41 years later. And I attribute all to God. I do. But I always say this, there's three people out that were so instrumental in me growing in my faith, man. And I always talk about Anthony Moore. I always talk about Al Blackstock and you. Because when we met, you were more into church than I was. When we met, you were more consistent, and then I was going to church. And it's through you, me sometimes, when I hard-headed as I was, seeing the God in you kind of drew me closer. Having kids was an amazing thing for me when I had children because it makes you grow up. But I wonder, no, I don't wonder. I say this all the time. I'm where I'm at right now because of you. And I tell this to everybody. For instance, only me and you could have made you and I could have made the kids we had. No other couple could have made it. So God has us right where we're supposed to be. And it's exciting for me because through the ups and downs, you've always been there. I never had to look for you. You've always been there, and that's something that I so sorely and so deeply appreciate. So this is killing her. So we're gonna have to speed this up a little bit. And this is taking too long for her. So after 41 years, I love, I came up with this title because I think you're more than enough. Because I think both of us went through those stages, especially early in our marriage, trying to measure up to each other. Trying to meet And now when I look back on it, it wasn't even our expectations, expectations that we kind of were fed by the word of what this person should be. And we both kind of came to a place where this is us, and we were made for each other. We were, your opposite to me is perfect because it offsets the things, she criticizes me all the time, but it's in such a way that she challenges me. So if I think of something and it's dumb, I know you're going to ask me the question, and we stretch each other like that. I help you with your emotions. I do. She's the tough one around here. But I think for me, we've been able to paint this picture. And I think about it. I'm this kid, skinny kid, grew up in North Philadelphia, was shy. Never saw myself who I am. I don't think I would have ever gotten here without you. Let me phrase that. I know I would have never gotten here without you. That's my public acknowledgement because I think about, where we live at. I think about how our home looks. I think about our kids. I think about our grandson. I think about how we've been able to be a blessing to everybody else. We do this thing together because I want to get your thoughts on Toy Story. We do this thing every year around Christmas time called Toy Story. Like everything else, I drug you in kicking and screaming. But we go back to my old neighborhood, 33rd and Oxford. I grew up at 33rd and Montgomery, and we give away free toys and clothes. Families register, and each year it grows. Each year it grows and grows and grows. How do you feel about that? Because you come out there every year, you stay from beginning to end, behind the scenes, help getting the administrative stuff together, stuff that I couldn't do that I screw up every year. Registration, we gave away bikes this year, just handling those things. So how do you feel about that in your work? Good, bad, and different?
That's a good thing. It's a good way to give back to others. I'm just grateful that not only do I join in, my children join in.
Yeah, it's a family thing.
It is a family thing. And
voluntarily.
Yes, and they enjoy it. Even when we prepare before we go down to the facility where we give out the toys, we come together evenings and sort out all the toys into age brackets. And it's just good. It's a good thing. We get some pizza, and everybody just comes together, and we're all my house is completely stocked at that time.
So a lot of people, it's like Santa's toy shopping. There's toys everywhere.
Toys are everywhere, and we sort everything out. And I'm just so grateful that my children want to be a part of it. They ask to be a part. So we get together and we do everything as a family, and it's a good time.
So as we, what about faith? And this is the part that, is so vital to us, is faith. So what part do you think faith plays in this? And I'll go first. I think for me, I think faith, me believing in God and growing that relationship with God, to where I am today, the things He's blessed me with, allowed me to do, gave me a clear picture of marriage and life. It did. When everybody else was looking to roles they saw on TV or, mom and dad or different people in the neighborhood, I was able to get a clear picture through my faith. I think faith has sustained us when it's literally all we had. Without going into details, our youngest, remember that was a faith ride when he was born, a prediction, to see who he is now. It's been a journey, man. I think faith has just been in the middle of everything we've done. God has blessed us even when we didn't know it was God. He do. And I think about where we are now. I think about you, most important person I know, and you've had such an impact on me. The way I think, things I do. And I shouldn't use the word critical, but critique, because I believe when people are critical, they don't typically have a solution. There's never nothing you said to me that you didn't come back and say, well, this is how you could do it, this is how you could be better. And I think I've improved in so many areas of my life because of that. And I think faith, because there's times when I wasn't always what I was supposed to be, but I think your faith in God, and your patience through your faith has allowed me to grow, to who I am today.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
This is you supposed to say something back. Now I'm just teasing. We do this all the time.
Oh, thank you. That's what I'm here for.
This is the way our conversations typically go to. I'll give this grandiose speech and she'll look at me, she'll give me a head nod, and she'll say, okay, that's it. So this is about how much emotion we get from her. So this is not on purpose. This is who she is. I'm telling you, this is who she is. But when she speaks, and don't mess with her kids. You talk about Mama Bear, don't mess with her kids, man. Let me tell you. I can't give too many details, but when people try to get into this family, you don't know. This is the interviewer right here. People like, where they come from, what they doing, who their parents, all kind of stuff. She's the real Mama Bear, man. And I appreciate that about her. I do. I appreciate it about her. My kids may not appreciate that about her, but yeah, she's on top of it, man. So what grandparents now? Yeah, I know you dreaded that. See, we see this differently because me, that dude, man, that's my dude. That's my dude. For you, it kind of reminds you that you're a grandparent. You love him to death, I know, but you just got a reminder. How was it when you became a grandparent? So let's talk about it because they don't know. When you first heard it, yeah, and the funny thing, you were struggling with your own car. That was hilarious. To now, 7 years later.
Yeah. He is truly a blessing. Yeah. And he amazes me. He's quite the little man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I appreciate him.
Yeah.
He keeps him busy, and I do appreciate him. And I'm excited. He's here every week.
Yeah, man, I miss him. Well, he's not here. I miss him.
Yeah, really. He's here, and he has turned this home into something. Our next chapter. Let's put it that way. It's our next chapter.
Perfect. Perfectly.
So I appreciate that about him.
Yeah, it's just for me, man. My mom and dad died. I had this void, man. Kids grown, so they weren't around. I got great kids. Need them, they're there. But it's like this void, and he came right on top because he came from my dad actually died. I mean, my only regret, I don't have regrets, is I wish your dad and my dad and my mom could have spent more time with him because I know they loved him. It's funny because Nicole was here earlier, we were talking about it, and I was laughing. You think he's 40 now? Man, dude he would have been through the roof. But he has been such a blessing, and I think for me, it's in line with what my parents taught me, how I should get better and better for each generation. And he represents that third generation for us. And he's already doing more things than our kids do. We could do more for him than we did for our kids, which is great. And our kids had a great life. They try to act like they didn't, but they did. But I think to me, I think the most important thing that we're giving him is family. Is because he's around us. He's around his uncles. Pretty much all the time. At least once a week he sees them or he sees us all the time. We go to his events. Chris went to his school the other day. So I think to me, that is one of the things that we built together that I couldn't explain to people how, but our sense of family. Our kids are grown. We go on vacation every other year. We still ask. They'll ask us, where we going? And they want to go. We don't make them go on blackmail or anything like that. And to me, it's amazing how we did that. How we came together and we were able to build this team, so to speak. And it's funny because now we got somebody else coming into the team, man, and she actually fits right in. She fits right in. So if you're watching this, we love you, we appreciate you, we adore you. We're not gonna say names. I know how my kids get about that, man. I think I put the stuff out there. But so as we start to wrap this up a little bit, what are some of the moments that stick out to you, in our marriage? I'm messing with her because this question is not on here. I'm asking. She's like, do that. That's not what
the birth of our children. How we progressed from stage to stage.
You can say it. From nothing.
Right, from stage to stage.
You broke them in the hand with a curveball, playing handball.
How we were able to pour into our children and just to see them grow. Never had any problems with any one of them. And we can now honestly say that they are our friends. It was progression. There's steps to it. But,
it was tough one.
But now you can truly say they are our friends.
Yeah, I think for me, there's so many moments, but I think the ones that stood out for me was watching each of them graduate from college. And it kind of just, the memories are flushing through, taking them, to kindergarten, taking them to preschool, taking them to school all these times, man. You see the progression, graduate from middle school, elementary, just watching them all graduate. And when Devin graduated, that was like, wow. That was really emotional. it was nice too. I was crying because I hadn't sent any more money to schools. We were done paying schools, but it was just seeing them do that and saying, wow, man, you know, we had a hand in that. You know, we 3 college graduates, which is pretty cool. I think the birth of Mackenzie definitely is up there for me, because at that moment it was kind of funny, because up until that point I was saying I'm not going to be that granddad. It's going to be like overwhelming and always have around everything, and I'm that granddad. You know, so my friends kind of laugh at me about it, but I am. I think 2 other things that really stood out to me, or 3. One, when I got my master's from Lincoln, you know, just to look out there and see you looking proud of me. That was pretty cool, man. And actually thinking about that, it was the last time my mom and dad we were all together. That was the last time. That was amazing. When I got ordained, that was really special. Just to see the look on your face, you were really proud. That was just real. Just to see you sitting up there smile, that was amazing. That was amazing. And then, yeah, the birth of our kids, definitely the birth of our kids. And there's been other things in there. I think back to when we got married. Like, who would have thought it? Here we are, 41 years later. I think about moving into this house, and this house we had all these 5-year plans, you know, and when you write plans, you set goals and you dream. You don't always know if they're going to come true, and they did. You know, God blessed us, and we were able to do the things we said we were going to do every 5 years. So we got here. Even you've been such a tremendous asset for me having my own company. You know, allowing me to do the late nights, allowing me to have 5 or 6 things stacked up in the course of the day, you know, and squeezing them in. You know, and people look like, how do you do it? But it's because of you, because when we were younger, you filled the gap in with the kids. You know, when I had to do stuff, you've always, even though you don't have an entrepreneurial spirit, you always honor my entrepreneurial spirit. Even though it was on the cleaning company, you know, to now we have our nonprofit FamCom, and we both run it. You know, she thinks she's the boss, I got to tell that, but I'm actually the boss. But yeah, we do that together, which is another blessing for me. So those moments to me are like, wow, you know. And then the last trip we took to Disney, I gotta say, the last trip we took to Disney was very special. You know, when we have the small video of us all sitting around the table, that was amazing to me. Just, you know, it was kind of like a Lifetime movie. You know, we're all sitting there laughing and joking, man, and just having fun, and being able to do stuff like that for our family. You know, is amazing to me. I mean, none of this would be possible without our parents. You know, I know I got to make sure, you know, the Bible says honor your parents, man, your mom, your dad, you know, who's no longer with us, my mom and dad who are not with us, your mom is still here. You know, they were tremendous, you know, in our growth. You know, we learned what to do and what not to do. So it was a great lesson. And then our circle, you know, my man Dane, who's no longer here, one of my best buddies in the world, man, and Annette, you know, they were key to our growth. Our days of New Covenant, it was quite interesting when I was a youth pastor, and I thank you for that, me being going all the time, you doing that. To even now, I think a lot of times people are surprised when I say we, because it is we. We are truly a team. So to me, couples out there getting married, man, it's not you and him or her and you. You're a team, and at teams you find a way to win. You find a way to win, and sometimes, you know, it's about you doing a little extra to pick up when somebody's not doing a whole lot. And it happens, because I hear people say marriage is 50-50, and it's not. It's never 50-50. Somebody's always doing more, and that has to be okay. You know, that has to be okay. I think, and some of the nuggets that I would say as we get ready to close is, you know, you said this before about communication, not just communication, being able to say those tough things. And it's kind of like, it's not what you say so much as how you say it. You know, if I give you a dozen roses, you smile. If I threw them at you, same roses, different presentation. I think I had to learn that. You know, we both did, but that's something I really had to learn. That, you know, I can say something that's simple to me, but to you, it was just something different, and vice versa. So I think that's huge. Or excuse me, that's huge when it comes to communication. Patience. And man, I was not always the most patient guy, man. And just being married has taught me patience. And I say that because, you know, when we first got married, we got married so young. How old were you when we got married? I don't think you weren't even legal, right? Yeah. No, I'm serious. You were like 19? Yeah, I was 20. Yeah, 19 going on 20, man. And here we are, 2 old fogies. You know, yeah, it's hard to believe I'll be 65 this year. And yeah, time is fly. But it's funny because I tell people I've been married more than half my life. Literally almost 2/3. If you look at it, you know, almost 2/3. But it's been one of the best things I've ever, one of the best adventures, one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. Has been. And, you know, for me, especially not having my mom, my dad, they're the closest that we've been able to establish. You know, it means the world to me. So as we close out, I just want you to know, man, you are more than enough. I'm trying to give the energy. Man. I got these books out there. That's the next thing, is to get her to be a little courage. Going to talk about why I wrote these books. But you are more than enough. More than enough is a children's book that I wrote. You can get on Amazon. I have copies, so you can get a signed copy from me. Just hit me up. I can mail it to you, whatever. They're only $10. It's a sentence on each page, but it's to help our young people understand you're more than enough. To help our young people understand, man, regardless of what the situation may be, regardless of what the circumstances may be, you are more than enough. So if you're out there and you're single, man, you're doubting yourself, you're more than enough. If you're out there and you're going through a stuff stretch in your relationship, you're more than enough. You are. You know, God has given you every tool and talent you to succeed. You just got to tap into the right source. You tap into the right source, he'll make it happen. He'll definitely make it happen. So again, we thank you guys very much for tuning in to our first episode of More Than Enough. My sons tease me about my theme songs, but I love this theme song. So I'm going to play it again as we close out. And you can listen to it and you can tell me if you like it or not.
Got the fire. More than enough. Just let the vibe lie. Young kings and queens, it's time to rise up. Ain't no need to doubt, just gotta size up. Just look in the mirror, see that shining glow. We built for the hustle, let that passion show. Titled you